would still stand. Certain episodes would still stand up today. I think they maybe look a little bit dated. Maybe not though, because it is all sort of set that sort of stock photography, and it's all set in the same set.
Again, complete preconception. Was it melodramatic, or did you feel like these are real? This is real people happening. These things are happening.
I wouldn't say so. And Gary, I don't know if you can add anything, because I know you watched this.
Well, my lasting memory of ER was really that feeling it was two shows. One was a drama about the people working in a hospital and the relationships.
I mean, you saw most of it through the eyes of Noah Wiley's character, didn't you?
That's right, because he's the guy that joins on day one, isn't he? He's the focus of the show. But the other thing as well that stood out in my mind was and I want to call it like the casualty moments, but I don't mean that in the British way, but like when the helicopter falls on the hospital. You know, when there's the massive bus crash, when they have to go out and rescue the kids in the bridge. You know, those things.
That was another brilliant episode.
Yeah.
But they didn't happen every week, did they?
No, that's right.
Why they were special.
It had that wonderful way of keeping things on a level, and then it just spiked. And you got the mixture of the drama and the action brilliantly.
I've dedicated my life to pediatric medicine. I've cared for dozens of dying kids. Kids in agony, pain. You and I can't even imagine. Ricky Abbott was gonna die. Not in a month, or a week, or a day. In hours. And nothing I did or could have done was gonna change that. His mother had already watched one son die from the disease, and she was sitting there watching her second son dying a horrible death from something that she passed on to him. Sometimes it's impossible to save a kid's life, and the only thing we can do is save them from suffering. Leave them with a little dignity. In the end, that's all they have.
Tell me, were you relieving the child's suffering, or were you relieving your own? If you were so certain you were doing the right thing, why didn't you administer the lethal dose yourself? You're the doctor. You could have stayed. You could have made sure there were no complications. That he really did die with dignity. But you left. You knew that killing that child was wrong. That's why you snuck out of the house before dawn, isn't it? You didn't want to be there, did you? Because you knew killing Ricky Abbott was wrong.
It's 15 seasons, so it would take me a while to watch them all on the desert
island. Oh, God, yeah.
I think I got all 15 seasons for about 40 quid or something like that.
There is a great to own box set with lots of extras as well that I've always had my eyes on, but it's never cheap enough on a website for me to go, oh yeah, I'll have that. But when it is, I will own that, because I'm sure it will come down.
Maura Tierney has to get a mention as well as Abby. I think she sort of kept it going through the later seasons.
I always thought she was a dull character, but there you go.
No, I liked her. They had a lot of big actors, sort of got some before they were famous, and some sort of like Sally Field had a big role in it. William H. Macy in the earlier seasons had a big role.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you forget.
A lot of big actors sort of made their way through the doors at some point of County, as it was called. The second one is one that I only just thought of, but I think it's the drama, the first one that sort of made me sit up and go, yeah, British dramas can be all right sometimes. And it was sort of the first one as well, first like adult one. Obviously, you know, when you're younger, you watch like Grange Hill and Biker Grove and things like that. Children's Ward. This is the first one that sort of I would call like an adult drama. It's on sort of, I think when I was sort of 17, 18 it started, and it's Teachers on Channel 4.
Wow.
Certainly the first two series especially of this.
Amazing.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm someone who at least has a go at being on their wavelength.
So that's why the pathetic little act of defiance.
At least I don't seem like a cold, miserable, uptight bitch.
Go on then, spew it all out. Get it off your puffed up macho chest. What's really on your mind?
I really want to sleep with you. I really want to sleep with you. Oh, what the hell? I really want to sleep with you.
That's It's useful to know.
It was sort of light, but at the same time, it sort of had that edge to it. Like, you believed in these characters. They were sort of, like, were they sort of late 20s, early 30s, still trying to work out where they wanted to be in their lives, even though they sort of settled into the teaching profession. And obviously it's before I got into teaching, but there are certain gags in there that you can relate to and things like that.
That cast was just full of familiar faces now. You can watch that now and go, oh my god, look what's happened to all of these people.
Yeah, Andrew Lincoln, Raquel Cassidy, the two blokes who ended up in Touch of Cloth.
Yeah, Nina, I've never known how to... Yeah, who is in everything.
James Lance.
James Corden.
Oddly, James Corden was a pupil in it, and then in the last season, series, whatever, Matt Horn was a teacher in that series nobody liked, and obviously Claudette from EastEnders was also in it. The Andrew Lincoln series were the first two, and he came back, didn't he, during 3, I believe. But the first 2 series with Lincoln, with Raquel Cassidy, they were the ones where it was really sort of about a guy who was at a crossroads, wasn't really a very good teacher. I mean, a lot of them weren't
really respected by his
kids.
Class. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the kids in that class, a lot of them have gone on to do other things, haven't they?
There was a girl in the class who I can't think.
Phoebe Nichols?
It might be Phoebe Nichols, and I think it was Cara Toynton as well.
Cara Toynton, in there. Yeah. There was a lot of names. As you say, James Corden as well. One of his sort of first big roles.
So do you think this is the first British drama you were like, I like this?
Yeah.
This is...
But again, links to this. This Life, I remember watching bits of with, I think my dad watched it, I think a little bit. And this is sort of a natural sort of sequel to it, and the fact that both of them had Andrew Lincoln in them. And I like the sort of anarchic spirit of this. The soundtrack was very of its time. I remember them releasing them as CDs, the soundtracks. They often had like random animals appear in the backdrops, didn't they, and things like that. And all the dinner ladies were dwarves for some reason. Just little things like that I think made this for me, and I think informed my later viewing. I think that makes sense.
Let me give you a few of the names and see if you remember if these people were in it. Certainly Sean Evans was in it.
Yes,
he was a
teacher.
He was. Was he a French teacher?
It doesn't say. He just said he played a character.
Yeah, but he had very long.
What was his character called?
John Paul Keating.
Yeah, he was a French teacher.
Jonas Armstrong.
Wow.
Amanda Abington was in it one episode. There is quite a list of people that you go down and you go, gosh, I recognise them. I recognise them.
And that's you saying that.
He's saying that. So imagine what.
Okay, so that's the second one.
Your list is already annoying me because it's already cooler than mine.
Now, American drama again, and one that was sort of a bit more sort of risque, going into what was the first HBO drama. And oddly, another one that I watched with my mum, which you wouldn't think of, but it was 6 Feet Under is the third one here.
Oh, your list is so annoying. I hate you so much. It's so cool and with it, and oh god. Yeah, go on.
Again, is one of those shows where it was just very different, wasn't it? It was like set in a funeral home. His family business. One son, who's sort of in the closet, gay man, has works all the time for the family business. The dad dies in the first episode, and the sort of prodigal son, played by Peter Krause, the other son played by Michael C. Hall, comes back to run the business with his brother. And it is very much character based, with that element that death is all around us. Famously, every episode started with a death. It started with the death of the character, who then would come into the funeral home, and whose funeral the episode would sort of be based around, but it was based around primarily the two brothers, obviously the Michael C. Hall coming out of the closet as it went on, Peter Krause finding a relationship with Rachel Griffiths' character Brenda, Lauren Ambrose, who was excellent as the sister Claire, and Frances Conroy as the mother as well, whose name was...
what, the name of the character?
Oh god,
Ruth Fisher. Ruth
Fisher.
Fisher
Family.
It was such a brilliantly constructed series. There was a lot of humour in it. There was a lot of emotional moments, and it does have one of the best final episodes of any series ever. I don't think the quality ever dipped either, and I think the characters evolved over time, and you don't always get that with TV series. you believed in these characters.
These are Matt's Desert Island Dramas.
You know, Rico, I'm a homo. I may not dress like Jackie Kennedy, but I have sex with men.
Don't talk to me about that. All right?
Why should I have to hide it from you? You change your baby's diaper in my house. You show me a videotape of your wife giving birth.
Where I come from, if men need to do that sometimes, they don't talk about it. They don't leave their wife and kids. They're still men.
I am a man.
The dramas that shaped us.
Well, once again, very much like my uncle, is there any chance we can get Matt's mum on the podcast?
I know, I'm thinking... I think I've been
He does
talking to
also
the
like
wrong
Judge
people.
John Deed and...
oh, well, there you are. Yeah, maybe not then.
I know, but it'd be varied.
Maybe because you fancy Martin Shaw. Just as Judge John Deed and not as George Gently, though.
Interesting, it must be the road.
It is interesting how family members influence your television.
I think gone down, but she does love Happy Valley.
Yeah.
But as you know, me talking about it before, she also likes, Come Dine With Me
and Don't Tell the Bride.
Don't Tell the Bride and Place in the Sun and things like that.
Gary, it's a US drama that gets a lot of praise. I just find it I just found it spellbinding. 6 Feet Under. I just think it's brilliant, but it's not one I've heard you talk about or praise.
You really enjoyed Brothers and Sisters, though, which was...
Well, I did enjoy... Well, no, I didn't. No, let's get this right. I watched the first series of Brothers and Sisters. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it tremendously. 6 Feet Under is one of those ones that I just never got, I think. It's on the famed list. I'd have to say that. And obviously, one of the things is that Peter Krause has gone on and done a lot of good things. Obviously, Michael C. Hall has gone on and done Dexter. So there's some great names in it. I just think as well, the other thing that didn't appeal to me was I didn't like the death thing. So, I mean, if you don't like... no, but I wasn't...
It's kind of crucial, isn't it?
The 70s element.
In Life on Mars.
It's in the same way that Mad Men, I didn't like advertising. So...
But I have to say, I don't know whether my love of it is influenced by the fact that I got the entire box set for like £3.50 at a charity
this is
shop.
One of the only things that I watched this sort of very much chronologically, linearly. It was on E4 and maybe then More 4. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe so.
4, I think.
This is where the list loses the call, so you won't be upset. But it was one where I think I'd sort of got into watching TV a bit more. Hearing people talk, I think it was on a Golden Globe show one year and talking about this show. It's the Gilmore Girls, and then
just lost the cool.
I told you. I would say guilty pleasure, but not really. It's not like a full-on drama, and that's maybe why it's not for you. And I was thinking, can I count this as a drama because it is quite light? But I suppose it's sort of like.
Well, so is Teachers.
It's comfort TV. That's how I would describe. Have you ever watched it, Gary? Because I know.
Yeah, I've watched about 3 or 4 series of this.
I never knew that.
Like it.
You really like it as well.
Yeah, but I think for the same reason, it's not something I would ever want to watch every episode of. I feel I can watch an episode and it's just nice, comfortable telly.
As you're saying about sitcoms, I mean, this is probably the one that I probably repeat versions of this. I've probably seen some episodes multiple times. And I believe the first UK broadcast of it was on Nickelodeon over here.
Right.
Yeah,
wow, well remembered.
Like 7 o'clock on Sundays, and then I got to talking to a friend about this. I bought the box sets, we started watching, and that's, I think, why it's remained with me, because one of my friends, I used to buy the box set, and we sort of literally went through, I'd go to her house or her flat or something, and we'd watch the entire season over, say, 3 or 4 days. This has the sort of small town charm element, very different from Twin Peaks' small town. This is another small town. Yeah. Stars Hollow in Connecticut, and a lot of the humour comes from the colourful characters who populate the town. And it's also about the relationships between mothers and daughters, both the mother, played by Lauren Graham, Lorelai, and Alexis Bledell's character, Rory. They're almost sort of best friends. And then the relationship between Lorelai and her mum, Emily, and the parents there. They're very much sort of...
I love the parents.
Connecticut-based, country clubs and all that. And she basically, as soon as she found out she was pregnant, didn't want to marry the dad, ran off to this small town, and has had a frosty relationship with the parents ever since. And the series sort of follows that relationship, trying to rebuild it over the years. And it's just great. I mean, that balance of drama and comedy.
These are Matt's Desert Island Dramas.
Maybe an intense weekend together was not the best idea.